What's up guys, JNO here, and first of all I just want to apologise for going a whole week without a single video. Yeah, it was just a really busy, hectic week, didn't even have time to put a quick video up saying no video this week. My apologies, unfortunately it is something that is going to happen every now and again because of my job. But anyway, here is Game Week 33 review with a little bit of Game Week 32 talk as well because we missed it out. Let's get on with the show. What's up guys, JNO here, and welcome to JNO United. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and remember, it's all about the game. Okay, so this is going to be a very quick episode today. I do have time, but I've got another commitment today. I'm going to be on the FPL Updates podcast, which I will leave a link to as soon as it's up. Should be an annotation now, hopefully, and go check out FPL Updates. I'm on there, I think this is the second time I've been on their podcast, and it's the third time I would have been on their channel, so definitely go check them out. Great advice from them. And let's have a look at how I did in Game Week 32 and 33. On the screen right now you can see in Game Week 32 I got 50 points, the average was 47, but unfortunately for me, I've got to get a lot better than the average because I'm coming up against some of the best players now that I'm in the top 1% area. So I think the average for the top players is in the 60 area, and unfortunately for me, very few of my players did well. Robert Huth was one of the standouts. Arnautovic got points, as did Kane and Aguero, but unfortunately that wasn't good enough, and I dropped from my 20 odd K mark all the way to like 37k, something like that. The rankings you see on the screen are my current rankings, spoiler alert. But we moved on to this week, and I'm not going to lie, I was very worried. I was going into this game week with a team with only Barkley and Lukaku, and I knew for a fact that a lot of people would have 3 Everton players, a lot of people would be getting in like the Liverpool players, the Arsenal players. Unfortunately for me, I had an Arsenal player that did do well in this game week. The Everton players didn't do much at all. Barkley and Lukaku have done nothing for me, but the standouts were Dele Alli and Toby Alderweireld came in and saved my game week pretty much. A point haul of 15 points, meaning I'm on 63 points, and I still have Barkley and Lukaku to play against Crystal Palace this Wednesday, so my point total isn't finished, but I've captained Lukaku. Lukaku and Barkley are going to be the most popular picks out of that Everton side other than an Everton defender, so I'm not too worried about my ranking dropping too much. Maybe some top players have picked some Crystal Palace players who could do me some damage, but I doubt it very highly, so I should be okay this game week. At the moment my rank is 31,305, which means I'm still in the top 1%, and that is my goal, to stay in that top 1%. If we have a look at the games, I actually watched the West Ham Arsenal game, and I hate that referee. I understand some people calling for Andy Carroll should have been sent off, but the amount of decisions that referee got wrong against West Ham, especially that offside decision, is just ridiculous. So 3-3, fair enough. Arsenal did do well with their chances, but we could have scored more, which would have got us 3 points, which would have had us sitting pretty, and unfortunately Man City then went and won, so we're now slightly behind Man City. We were hoping to chase for that Champions League place, but it's still time in the season left. But personally, although I hope, I don't see West Ham getting a Champions League berth this season. Newcastle look dead and buried at the moment, the way they're playing. Southampton just broke them down way too easily. Swansea picked up a surprise result against Chelsea. I wish I played Sigurdsson and Williams, and my game week score would have been even better. Aguero finally got on the score sheet, but it was just a penalty. Nothing earth-shattering from Aguero. Leicester went and won again, which put the pressure on Spurs, who had a late kick-off, and Spurs then went and scored like 3 in 6 minutes against Man United. Dele Alli and Alderweireld getting me some points, and Liverpool went and stuffed Stoke despite a very heavily rotated team, which I will talk about at the end of this episode. In the Certified Premier League, and I'm going to focus less on the head-to-head leagues, I'll still play it of course, but I just don't feel like I need to talk about it. The people that are in it are going to be interested and they can look for themselves. But in the Certified Premier League, Callum Sims is top still on 1,955 total points. Game week score of 47 though, which means I've caught up with him a little bit. I'm now the top YouTuber again in my Certified Premier League, but Lutfi B was above me after Game Week 32. kind of wish I had time to do an episode just to give him his props, but Lutfi B knows what he's talking about. He's pushing me all the way to the wire, and I am a bit worried with the double game weeks coming up that he could have some big scores and leave me in the dust. Padful is still there or thereabouts. He got 38 points so far this game week. Not sure what players he's got, so he could have 3 Everton players. He could pull some of that back. Lutfi B could pull some of it back as well, but I do have Barkley and Lukaku, so I'm not too worried at the moment. I'm just hoping kind of for top 10 and to be the top YouTuber in my own league. That would be the goal. As you can see from the captain choices, everyone had Lukaku. Apart from Todd Collister walking in Memphis, he went with Aguero, which at the moment, if Lukaku doesn't score against Palace, would be a better choice. Sigurdsson by Joshua Jogana. That was an inspired pick if Lukaku doesn't do anything. Unfortunately, Payet blanked, so Cole Philbrick, you went and took a punt and it didn't work out for you. But as you can see, most people went with Lukaku, and that is why I went for him, although I kind of wish I'd stuck with Vardy now as he scored 2 against Sunderland. And finally, we're just going to quickly talk about the double game weeks, and this is kind of my warning to you guys, because if anything, this game week has shown me something, and that is the fact that some clubs are going to heavily rotate because they have other goals in mind other than the Premier League title at the moment. The main example would be Liverpool. Now, they rested Coutinho, one of their best players, and played 2 reserve players. I believe they brought on a left winger and had a centre midfield play for the whole game that I've never heard of before. So there is a risk in picking double game week players that play for clubs that still have something to play for. Liverpool still have the Europa League. If they beat Dortmund, they could rest players for their double game week fixtures. Origi is coming to form, so they don't necessarily have to play Sturridge. Firmino could be rested. You never know who's going to be rested in a team that have other goals in mind. And the Europa League, winning that gets you a Champions League place. So Liverpool are going to be going for that, because I don't think they're going to be able to get Champions League football in any shape or form through Premier League performance this season. Man United and Chelsea. Man United are chasing for a Champions League place, but let's be honest, do you see them catching Man City? I personally don't. But both Chelsea and Man United are being experimental with their teams. They are playing players that necessarily you wouldn't have picked for your fantasy Premier League team, dropping players that you would have thought they'd have played. So picking Man United and Chelsea players at the moment seems a bit risky when they're playing heavily rotated teams. And then Man City, they have Champions League football at the moment. They've got PSG. As people would have noticed, if you brought Kevin De Bruyne in with your wild card, he didn't start. Fullbacks were rotated. Aguero may be rested if they have a big fixture in the next round if they beat PSG. So it's risky to pick double game week players that play for teams that still have some other competition to play for. That would include the likes of West Ham and Man United, depending who wins their FA Cup fixture. Everton as well, they could rotate, although Everton don't have that much else to play for, especially if they don't carry on in the FA Cup. So I personally are looking at teams like Arsenal, who have nothing else to play for but need to make sure they at least stay third. And Tottenham and Leicester, they don't have double game weeks coming up, but they definitely have something to play for in the Premier League. They ain't going to be resting any of their main players, which paid off for me because Toby Alderwood and Dele Alli came through. If I'd kept Vardy, I'd have had even better game week. So make sure if you're picking double game week players, you're picking ones that you're pretty confident are going to play, because I reckon people are going to be using bench boost, and then it makes no difference if you've got 3 or 4 players that aren't playing. Anyway guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I again apologise for a whole week of no seeing this face, seeing this mug, but I will do my best from this point forward to keep going. FPL isn't going anywhere, Football Manager isn't going anywhere, FIFA isn't going anywhere. This channel will continue, so don't worry about that. I've been JNO, you've been awesome, and remember, it's all about the game.